right, and we are back. I am Reginald Jeffrey. I'm here with Brian Brombrake, and we are just getting back from an amazing general session. In fact, we had everything all planned out, but we're pulling a little bit of audible here. We've got Ken, who's going to join us on stage.
Yeah, we had a
run through everything that we talked about in general session. Ken?
Hey, thanks guys for having me.
Absolutely.
Appreciate the crash in the party. I love this setup. Really exciting that we're able to do something new and different.
Yeah.
And it seems to be going well.
It is. Like Reggie said, we had this whole thing where we're going to break down what you said, but why not just hear it from the man himself?
How about I just listen to the commentary and see what I think? No, just kidding.
Well, one of the things we opened up with was Mike going ahead and covering the relationship with ScanSource and how everything is going so well there. What's your impression with our relationship with ScanSource and how the future looks as sort of that one big entity going forward?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity for us to run a business with the parachute and support that we have with ScanSource, right? So we get to make big bets, we get to challenge ourselves to do new things, enter new ideas, knowing that we have the full support of a much larger organization, the financial backing that enables us to make those bets, and just know that they're going to be there to support us along the way. So it's been a great opportunity for us, great partnership.
Cool. Very cool.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, one of the big things I wanted to cover, you had this by the numbers slide that was absolutely amazing. And the first number that you presented up there was $720 billion in the channel is going to be spent.
Yeah.
And we want to get a portion of that.
That's right. That's right. As I said upstage, I'd like to get 100% of it. I mean, 720, 790, 800, whatever the number is, it's big enough that we should want to get as much of that as possible. And these partners and these suppliers are going to help ensure we get there.
Absolutely. And I'm going to talk about a much bigger number here in a moment. But a couple other ones that were really interesting along the lines here was that 60% increase in cybersecurity. I actually had a question the other day. I'm like, it's not an if, but when you're going to be breached. So cybersecurity is going to continue to be at the forefront of everybody's mind.
That's right.
But we're seeing a huge impact in the channel. And talk to us a little bit about what we're doing at Intelisys to invest in that program and continue to be that go-to resource.
I mean, you hit it on the head, right? I mean, that everybody has connectivity needs, right? So every customer is going to buy connectivity at some point. Cybersecurity is that other thing, right? That every customer is going to buy at some point. And it's our job and our partner's job to be sure that they buy those technologies from us. So if you think about cybersecurity and what we're doing there, we're investing in the COE structure where we have specialists that are focused on cybersecurity that bring many years of expertise into those conversations. We have sales engineers that can have those conversations. We have BDs that we're training more on how to sell and drive cybersecurity. We're having classes. They can go 101, 201, 301. So they can really build practices around cybersecurity and make it a meaningful part of their business.
That's
One
awesome.
thing that hits home for me that you touched on is I'm a coach. So one thing you mentioned is
I like the sweatshirt gave you away.
Hey, I appreciate it. Is we're all going to treat our partners differently because they're not all the same. And as a coach, I'm like, treat them all fairly, but not all the same. So
that's right.
That's something that you're talking about. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
What would you coach?
Lacrosse.
Lacrosse, all right. So, you've got different positions on a lacrosse team, and, the types of reps you put into each of those positions is different, right? The outcome you expect from each of those positions is different. The amount of time in some of those positions requires more than others, right? So you have to build a program that, plays to the strengths of the players by putting the facilities, resources, and effort to enable each of those different players to really work together and succeed. And if we're going to win together as a channel, we're going to win as a TSD, we've got to find those opportunities to say, all right, this partner segment needs these things to be successful. Let's make sure we are the best at those things. We can't be all things to all people. We can't have 87 versions of everything we do, but there are some clear segmentation that we can invest in, and we're going to make those investments.
Very cool.
And one of the big things we talked about was AI, right? Cybersecurity is huge, AI is huge, but that leads us into one of the most interesting things that I think we're releasing is Simple Quote. And that was one of the first things you came in, we're like, hey, we got to really kind of invest in this and make this happen. Tell us, in your opinion, what do you think increasing that time to market, decreasing the time of a sale is really going to do for the Intelisys partners with things like Simple Quote?
Yeah, we want to get our partners to a place where the transactional technologies that they sell can be as transactional and quick as possible, so they can find the deal, quote the deal, book the deal, order the deal, deliver the deal as quickly as possible to find the next deal, the next opportunity. And as we talk tomorrow in our next session, and we talk about wallet share expansion and expanding into things like cybersecurity and these other use cases, if we can make the simple things simpler, we can take full advantage of that wallet share expansion. If we don't, it's hard to make that jump. Mm-hmm. And so we've got to enable that opportunity for our partners, and we've got to bring better tools to make sure it happens.
Awesome. Well, I know we only had a few minutes with you, Ken. We appreciate you taking the time. Yeah. We had one other thing that we wanted to chat about. We'll talk a little bit about Chris Gardner, and all of the work that he was doing was all very charitable. But we have our own charity event going on.
Yeah, we do.
We have Book 'em.
Book 'em.
So Reggie, you want to give just a quick plug about Book 'em?
Yeah. Sure. So Book 'em is an awesome event. Remember you telling us a little bit about it. You don't have to be here to actually, I'm looking which camera I'm looking into, to actually participate. You can actually order books off Amazon, have them send them in.
Yeah.
It's a great, even used books that are brand new. I know this is dear to you as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, a lot of us remember books that we loved as a childhood, in our childhood. A lot of us have kids who we've read books, and you can just know the joy when you read them a book that they love.
Sure.
And when I heard that there are children in this community that don't actually have a book at all, not even a favorite book, that's just a miss, right? To have that imagination, to have that opportunity to think and dream. If you think about Chris's message, have a dream, go after that dream. A lot of those dreams start in the books, in the stories, and the things we learn as a child and consume as a child. So we should give those children every opportunity to find a dream they should go after, and books are an easy way to help do that.
110%. Ready Player One, that's
I was a big Goosebumps guy. I think I had the whole collection, but we appreciate your time,
I liked
Ken.
Arthur, I don't know why.
We appreciate your time, Ken. We actually have a quick bit here from Annabelle. So, Annabelle?
Nice.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Anita.
Hi.
How are you?
Very well.
So this is my third Intelisys Channel Connect. How many Intelisys Channel Connects have you attended?
This is my second.
Your second?
Yes.
Wow.
I was at Orlando last year.
Do you like Orlando better, or do you like Nashville better?
Oh, that's a tricky one.
Tricky question.
I think Nashville's great.
Yeah, Nashville's really great.
Yeah. I mean, I'm from Florida, so Nashville is brilliant.
Yeah. And has there been anything that you've seen here that you've enjoyed so far? Any of the nightlife? Gone any of the bands?
The band last night was great.
Yeah.
Nash Bash welcome party.
Yeah.
They were amazing. So we had a lot of fun.
Tell me about the Nash Bash welcome party. What was that like for you?
It was great. Everybody was in the room. We were all networking and just getting to meet everyone, the suppliers, in a really relaxed environment.
Yeah.
The merch was brilliant.
Yeah.
And we just all had a really good fun evening.
What was your favorite merch?
What was my favorite merch? The cowboy hat, obviously. Is it? Do you call it the cowboy hat?
Yeah, cowboy hat's fine. Yeah, the cowboy hat was fun. I had the trucker hat.
And I had it on all night.
All night?
Yeah, I should have worn it this morning.
Yeah. And I know that you attended the ACW breakfast. What were a couple things that you learned at that breakfast?
So I've been a member for ACW for a year now, So I joined last year when I was at the Channel Connect in Orlando, and I'm taking a big part of it now. I'm part of the philanthropy, and it's just great to get everyone together and meet everyone and bring everyone in and just talk about what initiatives we do, so it's great. Yeah.
Nice. What are 3 words that describe the ACW breakfast?
Well, women in tech, so supporting each other, lifting each other up, and I think it's just that whole collaboration of all of us coming together, and I guess it's just together, right?
Yeah. And I know that you've been a partner of Intelisys for 2 years, that's correct?
So 2 years, and then I also was from the UK, so I also met Intelisys in 2018.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And what's that relationship been like so far?
It's been great. Everybody's really good. Everybody around in the East Coast is really supportive, and I just get all the support that I need. Stephanie's brilliant, and I just love all the culture and everything else. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, it sounds like it's helped you build kind of a community, lots of support. You love the culture. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
What are some things that you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to the dinner, the awards.
Yeah.
It's nice to get everyone together and celebrate everybody's
Achievements,
that's it,
Yeah.
Just to celebrate that and see what everybody's doing and collaborate. And when all of us partners come together, we collaborate a lot, and it's great to hear from everywhere what everyone's doing and how we're moving forward, and meeting the vendors, and it's brilliant.
Tell me a little bit more about the collaboration. What do you mean? Like every time you guys come together, you collaborate? Tell me a little bit more about that.
We collaborate together. We talk about how we build our businesses, how we build our relationships with our vendors. We're also part of like the TAA, so we come together and do that, and it's just a great family community environment. So all of us together, obviously, because we're all over, so it's nice to come together.
Well,
I think together's the word.
Together.
It's like the whole thing. Together is the thing.
Together is the thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's been so great talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we are back. Thank you, Annabelle, for that amazing interview. We're going to have more feet on the street takes around the venue over the next couple days. But how about that last-minute appearance from Ken?
Talk about like an audible. You got to love it, though.
Yeah, he literally came to the side of the stage and was like, "Hey, I got a few minutes. Can we do a beast?" And we were like, "Yeah, absolutely. We're going to talk about you anyways." So
literally doing it live.
Yeah, we're literally doing it live here. So we have a few minutes here to cover a couple things. One of the things that we want to talk about, we had a little bit of a spoiler there with the slide, but we'll get to that slide in just a moment, is we have a few events going on, or quite a few events going on this afternoon. Right now, I don't know if you guys can hear the rumblings in the microphones, but we are literally looking at the Supplier Expo Hall is going on. We have over 100 suppliers, I believe, that are here today. We have 1,500 attendees at the Intelisys Channel Connect in general. So this is a massive event for us.
Sure.
Tons of people going on. I'm a little jealous I'm not over there on the supplier floor. But we got breakout sessions this afternoon, and I know I personally have 2 that I'm hosting. How many are you hosting this afternoon?
I've got 1 this afternoon, 2 tomorrow.
2 tomorrow.
Yep.
And we talked about this morning a different philosophy, a different approach to our breakout sessions, with a big theme being cross-sell and upsell.
Yeah.
So what that really means from a cross-sell, upsell perspective is that we have found that if we don't mind, we could throw up that slide again, that the more technologies a partner sells, the more monthly recurring revenue that they gain with less customers.
Yeah.
So this slide was amazing. It actually shows you here, if you look at that chart at the bottom, the numbers across the top of the chart, the 1, 2, 3, 4, et cetera, those are the number of technology verticals that a partner sells. And then we have obviously the monthly recurring revenue per agency, but then we also see a number of customers. So as you move to the right on there, you see an almost exponential growth in the monthly recurring revenue based on the number of technologies sold, but you also see a massive decrease in the number of customers they have to sell. Sure. So what we're finding is that the more time partners spend with their existing customer base, selling different technologies, so pivoting that conversation into other technologies and capturing more market share with that customer, it's really less customers they have to have.
Yeah, there's a little company I used to work for called Organic Growth, and that's what they did. And when we're looking at this and we're talking about technologies, we're talking about the verticals and tech stacks, and we found that some of those tech stacks and verticals fit more naturally with others. Some sit right next to each other as well. So that's some of the things that we're covering in our classes and our panels today, is which one of those verticals naturally connect to others. So it's an easier conversation to bring up.
So we'll find in all of those breakout sessions a flavor of this, how to spin the conversation into this technology. We're going to give you entry points. And overall, like I said, this morning, we really want folks to be able to leave that meeting and be able to pick up that phone and talk to their customer. But we have a few things coming right after this bit. So not up next, but yet to be found on the live stream, we're going to have James Morrison. So he is our Senior Director of our Cybersecurity Programs. He's going to be talking with Lumen We're going to have a couple regional VPs with Stephanie Burris and Eddie Acosta coming up to talk to some of our successful partners in each of their respective territories. And then we're also going to have, we mentioned some of the expertise, John Themis, he's one of our cloud experts, coming up to talk about TierPoint and Zayo. But up next, we have something you're a part of.
Sure. We will be having Epic.io and Jamal coming up, and I will be joining for a small interview. So we'll be talking a little bit about IoT and some of the future possibilities with that.
Awesome. I can't wait for that. So stay tuned. We're going to have a small commercial break, and we're going to have Reggie and Jamal up here with Epic.io.
Yep. I'm here with the CEO. All right, and we're back. I'm Reggie Jeffrey, and we're live here at iCC. I've got some guests with me, as you can see. I've got Jamal Purvis, our SC, who is lead of IoT and head of IoT discussions. And we got a special guest. We've got David Masters, who is the CCO of Epic.io, correct?
That's correct.
All right, and what we're going to do is let you introduce yourself, and we've got a couple questions for you, if you don't mind.
Sounds good. So
right.
My name is David Masters. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer at Epic.io. We're a connectivity and AI IoT company.
Very cool.
Awesome. So David, I want to just kind of just talk a little bit about some of the things that you guys have had happen over the last year. So one of the things that I was always very curious about was the acquisition with 2020 Solutions. How does that bring Epic.io up? What are you guys going to do with that acquisition?
Yeah. So interestingly enough, I joined Epic right about the same time the acquisition was happening.
Okay.
And so I was learning as a new person at Epic.io, but where 2020 really fit into our portfolio was it lined up directly to what we were doing on the AI IoT side of the company. So they had a lot of solutions around site security, mobility. They had 24/7 SOC center as well, so supporting customers. And so we were able to expand not only our AI IoT platforms, but also our support services as well.
Awesome, awesome.
Very cool.
So I know, Reggie, you had a question that you were wanting to look at.
Sure. Just kind of taking us back to what Kim was talking about in the general session about the future of edge-based computing. Can you tell us a little bit about what Epic.io's strategy is for go-to-market and how to bring that running in that respect?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people start to think about and use the buzzword of AI or IoT,
Sure.
but how are they actually applying it and how do they get value from it? And so one of the things that we do a lot of is around our physical security, site security, around using the endpoints, whether it be IoT sensors or whether it be cameras, using those endpoints to gather data, video data, other data, collapsing that into a platform that actually provides meaningful information back to the customer that they can actually action on, decide how to run their business more effectively or secure assets. Those types of important things that the customer is really looking for, we can provide that in our Deep Insights platform.
Very cool.
Yeah, and one thing that I like about what you guys are doing there is the fact that it does rely on a specific network. So I know Epic.io is really branching into that, PCN or that private cellular network. And then with the acquisition with 2020 Solutions, everything you've already had in place, do you see this being like one of the groundbreaking years in 2025 that you guys are going to see a much upscale, support and solutions that are coming out there for the private cellular side?
Yeah, so I think on the PCN side of it too, it's around specific applications,
Yes.
right? So if you look at specific industries, whether it be manufacturing, and they need to control a lot of data from a lot of endpoints, a lot of sensor data, they want to keep it secure. And so those are things that we're looking at and tying that together with our Deep Insights platform that collapses that, but then also provides secure connectivity. It's a big deal. And so these are ways that we are leveraging not only AI and IoT, but also leveraging connectivity and consistent network and making sure that it's secure, but also always on, and so that they don't have any downtime. So there's a lot, when you look at market verticals, there's specific ones that really lean towards that PCN type of solution.
Gotcha.
Very cool. We talked a lot about, or we are going to continue to talk a lot about cross-sell, upsell.
Yep.
And you actually just mentioned it already about where IoT fits, what it fits next to, connectivity with IoT. What are some things that folks can do, what our partners can do to enter the discussion of IoT if that is not the tech stack that they're natively in?
Sure. So one of the things we heard in the opening session today was, I think Ken talked about, the idea of that connectivity being the open door to a lot more solutions, right?
Absolutely.
And so that's how we looked at it as well. And so when we go into a new client, whether it be, obviously working with a partner, connectivity may be the way to get in the door, but then there's a lot of additional services you can layer on top of that.
Yes.
So it's a natural conversation to say, what are mission critical types of solutions that you're inside your business that you need to maintain and keep up and running at all times.
Sure.
So one, you need to have diversity around connectivity, and then how do you want to tie that together with the other systems that are there? And so security may be one of those things. Identifying people and things around your facilities. You want to make sure that when shipments go out from your facility that license plate recognition is part of that, like as an example,
Sure.
or entry access to facilities. And so all of that can be done in tandem with the connectivity, with AI, IoT information that we can manage within our platforms and be able to allow the customer to automate a lot of those decision making, and so that they're not spending a lot of time after the fact, remediating. We can be proactive on those things. And so it just opens up the conversation. It's a very solutions-oriented conversation.
Yeah, I know a lot of new partners when they come in, they look at IoT as being almost like a very hard way to describe solutions, right? It's like, what do you consider to be IoT? Because IoT is pretty much anything connected that's delivering data back, right? Or going
Internet of
somewhere.
Things.
Exactly. So it's always the hardest thing that I think people have had is trying to figure out what IoT is and how to implement it. But from a partner point of view is when they come to you guys, what does the education look like for them as we're going through that track? Are you guys able to kind of help guide them through that process and then build on it?
Yeah, so I think a lot of what I'm hearing from the partner community, and which I'm relatively new to in the advisory channel piece, and so I'm hearing a lot from partners, and that's one of the values I get from coming to events like this, is to hear from partners directly what's meaningful for them, what do they need. There's a lot of enablement conversations. How do you shoulder up with a supplier, with the partner, to be able to deliver good outcomes to the customer? And so I think what we need to do is be able to communicate to the advisor channel partner to how to identify good opportunities and allow us to come in as the industry expert in whatever solution that they're looking for and help them sell that. And we do a really good job of that. And then as they sell multiple times with us, then that gives them the confidence to do it on their own, and that's where you get scale.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So as we enter in the first half of 2025, a lot of partners have asked me, so I'm going to ask you, where do you see IoT growth as far as verticals? Healthcare, hospitality, retail. Obviously, IoT is in each one of those, but where do you all see a lot of growth coming within 2025 for that?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at our business, what we have seen is that for our customers, it's a lot of market verticals. You're looking at utilities, oil and gas, you look at healthcare, manufacturing, even in a public sector space, right?
Sure.
So if you think about, safety, parks and recs, like those types of opportunities, we're seeing more opportunity around that. And again, it's around customers that are trying to leverage the assets that they've already purchased and how to get more information from that and how to make good decisions based on that information. So again, it's a proactive approach versus a reactive. But obviously there's going to continue to be growth, right?
Sure.
And then the good thing is, as we talked about even earlier, is that connectivity must be part of that, right? You must have redundancy, you must have always-on connectivity, and that's a big part of our business and the advisory channel business here too.
So speaking of connectivity, you guys are now an official partner with Starlink?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So how's that going? How's the adoption of those coming around? Because connectivity, like I said, is key, and we know that a lot of areas don't have really good streamlined hardwire connectivity, so having to rely on getting other sources like Starlink or private LTE or LTE connections.
Yeah, so there's a lot of interest around that. It's a hot topic to talk about, right? Mm-hmm. What I think we do a good job of is when someone hears, oh, I have a customer looking at Starlink, we actually have conversations around, okay, is that really the best connectivity for you? And it may be, right? It may be a hard site to reach. There may be assets there that they need to protect with video. How do you make sure that there's always on connection there? And so Starlink, in many cases, is a way for that connectivity to happen, and we do that in combination with some other solutions that we offer. And so we're seeing the growth on that side quite a bit. Now, there are instances where somebody thinks they need Starlink, and actually there's other connectivity options that we can provide too. So again, it's back to the solution. What are you trying to gain from that? What are you trying to deliver at the end of the day? So for the customer, and so I think that's a real, again, getting back to the outcomes and what they're trying to get from it. So, but there is a growth. We're seeing growth on the Starlink side for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I know we're getting towards the end of it, but if I could leave you, or at least, and he may have one more, but if I could leave you one more question, what do you see as something that might be a hidden gem or something that maybe is not obvious to our partners who know you very well that they should know about, that you want to kind of bring to the surface of a solution that Epic.io provides that not everyone knows that you provide?
Well, I think there has been a lot of buzzwords, around AI, IoT. That's actually, we got a lot of visibility and a lot of brand recognition by talking about that. I think what I'm finding, and this is me just asking a lot of partners, like, how do you know at Epic? Like, what do you think about? And it was in that AI and IoT space. But what I think a lot of people forget about is that we have really good solutions on connectivity. We do large enterprise scale outs. We can do multi-site. There's a lot of just basic things that we can do from a connectivity standpoint that a lot of people like to talk about the newest thing around AI and IoT, but we do a really good job in the connectivity space too. And so that's something that we are doubling down on for next year as well.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Very cool.
So, David, I got to ask you a very serious question.
Okay.
And for those out there, Clemson or Carolina, who you got?
That's a tough question, especially if you have loyalties in one. I married into a Carolina family.
Oh, Carolina.
Now, I do have some close friends that Clemson fans. I know a lot of ScanSource and Intelisys people are Clemson fans. But I would say this year, probably Carolina's going to take the win.
All right, you heard it first. Carolina's going to take the win. I personally, anybody who beats Clemson's good with me.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, David, thank you so much for coming up. Well, and I know we got just a bit of time left. Tell us a little bit about the event. What have you been into since you've been here? You had a good time? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
how are you enjoying the event, I should say?
Yeah, the event's great. Nashville's a great location. I think it's a good opportunity to, not to lean into the connect, but we do connect with a lot of partners here. I'm getting a lot of good feedback. It helps us frame up how we go to market and how we position our solutions and pricing. And so all of these things play together. It's a good way to get information from that. And then, of course, it's a good venue, so you can have a lot of fun here in Nashville too, right?
And it is a fantastic venue, absolutely.
It is awesome. Love the area, love the place.
Yep. All right, well, thank you. I very much appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, David.
Yep, and look forward to working with you again in the future. And you can always reach out, let us know, contact your SEs, contact your BDMs. We'll set up an introduction with Epic.io. We can definitely help facilitate that for you.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you. Very much appreciate it. Enjoy the show.
Yeah,
all right, guys. No problem.
AI can transform every part of your CX, from self-service and agent assistance to customer insights. But harnessing its full potential requires more than just adding AI onto your existing CX. It calls for an end-to-end platform that can do it all. And building that takes actual intelligence from an industry leader with extensive experience building AI solutions that drive tangible outcomes. The new era of CX starts here with Five9 Genius AI. a step-by-step process for deploying AI across all your CX touchpoints and delivering real business value. How does it work? Step 1, listen. We capture and enrich your engagement data to unlock a deeper understanding of your customer. Step 2, analyze. Using intelligent AI, we identify trends and insights within your data and provide actionable recommendations. Step 3, tailor. We build customized AI models using contextual data and knowledge, while establishing guardrails as part of our responsible AI approach. Step 4, apply. Leverage our complete set of AI tools to activate automated and assisted experiences across all touchpoints, making every customer engagement more intelligent and personal. Move beyond the AI hype with actual intelligence. Transform your CX with Five9 Genius AI. Five9.
All right, and welcome back to iCC Live. So, new guest on stage. I'm joined with J.R. Cook and Tricia Ward. And I'm going to go ahead and give the floor to you all because I know you've got some great questions for each other. So, I'm going to hand it over to you to take over.
Sounds great. We appreciate you inviting us here. This is a special privilege. First, we got to start off. Everyone's talking about Carolina and Clemson, so I know it's all about the Ducks.
All about the Oregon Ducks for me.
We'll get that. We'll get that out of the way.
Country right now in the CFP. Just saying.
In case you didn't know.
In case you didn't know.
So I filled out the badge. 15 years for Channel Connect for me. I have to ask. This is Tricia Ward, first platinum for Intelisys, the queen of Intelisys, queen of Channel Connect. How many Channel Connects have you been to?
This is my 23rd Channel Connect.
Wow.
I started at Channel Connect before it was called Channel Connect.
In Telegolf days.
Telegolf, back in Rohnert Park.
So a little bit larger crowd this morning than at your first Channel Connect.
Definitely.
Let me ask you, what part has Channel Connect played in your career and your journey with Intelisys?
That's a great question. You know, when I first came to Intelligolf, now known as Channel Connect, I really took it upon myself to try and get the most I could out of it. I realized that I wasn't always taking advantage in doing that. It was a lot of fun people. I made some great relationships. And over the years, I would have to say that I have come to understand the value of Channel Connect in that it really, even though it's about the people, it's about the energy and about the investment that the suppliers are making in my journey to be successful, and in what Intelisys and now ScanSource, and what they're investing. And I would say that I really changed my perspective on Channel Connect to really take advantage of all the classes, all of the supplier booths that I could get to really put myself out there, and also to just be a sponge and absorb everything I could and learn everything I could.
I appreciate you highlighting that, because of course I was on the supplier side for many years and now on the Intelisys side. And there's just, you're right. I mean, suppliers are here hungry. It's their opportunity to sit down with the top selling partners in the industry and help them understand, not that they're trying to change their journey, but I want to expand your horizons. I want to give you another opportunity to get more wallet share from your customers and be more valuable to your customers. Let me ask you, has there been any, put you on the spot here, any specific relationship that you were able to, took advantage of at Channel Connect that was a game changer for you?
Well, I would say that probably changes from year to year. Initially, I happened to live in a very high concentration of, Lumen customers. Yeah. And so I grew a very close relationship with Lumen initially. And over time, as I learned and as the channel started to change, I really tried to seek out partners where I could expand, where I could land and expand, and do things outside. Sorry about that. Do things outside of my comfort zone. And so when I look over here at all the booths, I would really try and make my way to suppliers that I really didn't know that well and try and learn more about them and steer away from the ones that I knew a lot about. And that became very valuable to me. I learned a lot.
I remember you mentioning that once to me was, again, you got to platinum when getting to platinum was hard. You were selling $500 circuits, and to get to $1 million in billing, it's amazing to think that you were able to do that. But I remember you saying that as the industry was transforming and connectivity was still incredibly important, it was imperative that you understood what the application was on the other side. To the extent I remember you sharing with me, one of my favorite stories was the fact that one of your customers actually had you sit down and be part of their journey, building and understanding what applications the business were going to be looking for, and looking to you to be the glue that would bring all those different applications together. But something else you shared with me once too was it wasn't just the relationships with the suppliers. You've also forged some pretty amazing relationships with other sales partners.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I would say that some of the people I admire the most and some of my very best friends are the people in the room today. They are my inspiration. They're my motivation. I revere them. I want them to do well. I want them to have the same kind of journey that I've had. But I also want any new person starting in the channel to take it all in. Come and talk to me. Come and talk to people like Steve Gerhardt. We want to help you to be successful. And so I would say, in addition to all the wonderful training and resources, seek out the people that have made that journey ahead of you. They are super valuable. They can fast track you. And it's incumbent upon you to go and do that. So I hope that people just form wonderful relationships here. It's been the delight of my life to know these people, and I'm blessed.
That's why you are a living legend in this industry. Thank you, Tricia Ward, and thank you for your Inspiration Awards, and thank you all that you do for Intelisys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, JR. Thank you, Tricia, for taking us through that legacy. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now we are going to pivot over. We're going to bring you to Annabelle at the exhibit hall.
Howdy, howdy, you're back with me, your favorite Intelisys employee. Let's check out some of our favorite suppliers in the Expo Hall. I heard a little rumor that we have about 1,500 people at this expo. This is awesome. I'm so excited to be here. Let's check out, we have Aryaka right over here to my right. Hey guys, how are you? I was chatting with them earlier. Can you guys tell me a little bit about This,
This right here, these are whiskey bowls.
yeah.
So basically what you do is you put water in the top of them, and then you open it up after it freezes, and it's going to be a perfect circle, and it fits directly into this glass for your whiskey or Kool-Aid needs. It doesn't have to be whiskey, it can be any drink at all.
Beautiful, love that. Tell me something, what are you hearing from partners at the show so far?
They like everything they see here. They're really surprised at the number of vendors that actually are underneath the Intelisys portfolio, and they're really surprised at a lot of them that they haven't seen yet. So they're meeting a lot of new partners, and they're branching out.
Definitely come check them out. We'll move on over to our next booth. I'm hearing a lot of, we're excited to see all of the vendors. We're excited to see all of the people that we love and know and network with. I want to go over to the Avaya booth. I already had 2 of their chocolate cookies. They were super, super, super good. So I just want to chit chat with them for a second. Hey, Avaya. How are you?
I'm doing fabulous. Love being at Channel Connect again.
And what have you been hearing about the partners so far? What are they saying to you?
Well, AI has been the big buzzword, and partners are really interested on what each of the suppliers and vendors are doing with AI and how we're incorporating it into our solutions. So yeah, and just any updates that we have in general to our products.
Awesome. And I know I took 2 of your cookies earlier. This is the spot to go. If you want a little sweet treat, thank you so much. We're going to move on over to the next booth. Just cut around the corner here. I'm hearing a lot of, we're here, Intelisys is here to support, Intelisys is here to help us build connections and network with. Hey guys, how are you?
Wonderful, thank you. Doing great.
Yeah. And is there anything that has stuck out to you from the Intelisys Channel Connect so far?
Just how many people? Yeah, I mean, it's a great show, just a great turnout of especially trusted advisors that came out to Nashville to learn about the industry and products and services and support that we provide for everyone. And of course, just the welcoming from Intelisys is always great to be out here.
That's so great, yeah. That's awesome. Maybe we can cut over here, or I don't know, guys. It's really, really crowded. There's tons of people everywhere. Yeah, there's tons of people everywhere. That's how jam-packed this expo is. You don't want to miss out on it. Let's come over here to Claro. Hey, how are you guys? Is it Claro? Am I nailing that? Yeah? Okay, I'd love to hear it. So what do you guys have going on that's new at your booth this year?
I'm really glad that you asked. So one of our quickest growing products that we have in the marketplace right now is our AI video analytics. The reason why it's so popular is because it can actually be layered on top of existing infrastructure, so there's no need to replace your entire cameras. It's not proprietary to anything. And we have over 25 different use cases, anything from weapon detection to intrusion detection, all the way down to license plate and facial recognition. And it's a Homeland Security certified solution, so as you can imagine, definitely taking off in the marketplace.
Sounds awesome. Thank you so much for your time. We're gonna move on over. Oh, look who it is. It's my favorite, Elaine from Cisco. Hey, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you today?
I'm good. So what do you guys have going on that's new at your booth this year?
So what we have going on is business in a box here. So everything a small business needs to get their business up and running, right? So this is going to come with Wi-Fi for your guest users, as well as to make secure credit card transactions. It's going to come with a 5G router, where you can get your 5G from AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile. And basically it's going to have cameras, it's going to have sensors, air quality control, everything that a small business is going to need. And you're going to be able to manage this from a single dashboard here, along with all the connectivity you need.
Awesome. David, what are you looking forward to most in the rest of the show?
I'm looking forward to actually spreading the information, and for a lot of people just learning about what we do at Cisco. A lot of people use other vendors, and we really believe we have a great solution, especially for threat detection and for to get businesses up and running efficiently.
Great. Up next, we have Lumen. So check out that. We good? that bad?
Hey, welcome to the next iteration here of live Channel Connect here with Intelisys. My name is James Morris. I'm the Senior Director for Security Programs. And today I'm actually happy to have one of our great partners up, Lumen. And so let me give you both a chance to introduce yourselves for the audience out there. And
all right, thank you. My name is Kuhl. I am the Senior Vice President of Global Partner Solutions and the Channel Chief for Lumen Technologies.
Hello, everyone. My name is Umesh, Lakshman, and I'm the National VP for Solutions Architecture at Lumen.
All right. Well, great meeting y'all. What do you think of Channel Connect so far? How are you enjoying it?
It's pretty fun. You guys put on a good party.
Well, that's what we're here for, but we're also here to talk about how you all can help our partners be more successful. And so I want to start with you, Bree. One of the things that you and I had talked about before is your partner program that Lumen has. Why don't you explain a little bit more what that partner program is and how the partners can engage you for more opportunities?
Sure. So right now, more than ever, partners are obviously a huge critical piece to our growth. And so over the last few years, actually, we have had a wonderful partner program. And what we're doing this year, and actually starting right now, is we're enhancing this partner program. We realize that we have to be a lot easier to do business with, and so we're making the necessary changes and investments to do that. We're laser focused on really great incentives around big deals and multi-year incentives. And what that's really going to do is bring our partner ecosystem into our community a little bit more and understand exactly what they need to do to really hone in and turbocharge their business.
And so it's for all partners, right? Not just current Lumen partners, but you want to generate more interest amongst new partners as well, yeah?
Oh yeah, we want to recruit. We want more partners, the better. So yes, everybody's welcome.
Well, and Umesh, we wouldn't be here unless we're talking about technology here, right? So let's talk a little bit about where Lumen's going in the technology realm and what can we look forward to as we go into 2025 and beyond?
Sure, and I'll try to give you a sneak peek of everything that's going on.
Sneak peeks, that's what we're here for.
Peeks, exactly. And you wouldn't be at a conference if you didn't talk about two words, AI and data.
It's a drinking game,
Yeah, it's like, well, that's a 5 p.m. and later game.
Okay,
right?
that's right.
But for us, we've taken the best network in the world and we're making it AI-centric. And what that means to us is traditional internet connections are point-to-point. And AI has changed the whole landscape of how we look at data. And we have to have data neutrality. We need to have data directionality that's neutral as well. So we want our network to perform more like a fabric, which is what you'd see in a data center, versus an actual backbone, which is point-to-point. You're going to see a heavy amount of investments that we're doing into the core, into the backbone itself. We're calling it the private connectivity fabric. And that will let us do different go-to-market models. So case in point on how we're trying to do business better with partners, we're building purpose-built bundles that partners can transact that are tied to not just network, but network plus security. I would almost call it network adjacent, right? So it's easier to create that one easy button transaction on a portal versus us trying to do everything through a human interaction.
Well, and you're kind of touching on sort of in my world, right? So as a security person, one of the big conversations we have is upsell, cross-sell.
Exactly.
And especially when I'm talking with Lumen and your customers, is everybody's buying cybersecurity. So how can we engage the partners more to sort of have that conversation and upsell the Lumen story?
Exactly. So, and you're already having the conversation about the network, about connections. But if you really want to get relevant to the C-suite, to the higher-end stakeholders, you need to weave in security from the stage one, from the first conversation. And the way we do that, we already have the DDoS solutions that we've always had with Black Lotus, with Lumen, but we now have a suite of SASE and security-adjacent products that we've built in with some of our partner vendors that we can go to market quickly with a digital portal.
And one of the things I mentioned earlier is that we're investing a lot in sort of changing a little bit on how we work with the ecosystem, right? So I want the partners to understand that as we transform from telco to techco, or we go from connectivity topics to solutioning topics, that's what's going to be important. And we're going to be driving that message across into our partner community on how we can actually add on to a regular conversation around connectivity. What else can we also provide that can basically solve an outcome for our partner ecosystem and their customers. So it's going to be a change of a message a little bit and a little change in the narrative, but it's going to be really exciting.
Well, and you're touching also on the language of outcome, right? And so when we talk about security tools, we talk about tools in general. We aren't necessarily been buying in the past just around an outcome. We've been buying because we think it's going to do something for us. And so I think that's a great message, is to help not just the partner understand that outcome, but also the customer themselves. Because it's easier, I think, to sell when they can, as you're saying, take it to the director and the board. So,
yeah, I think the key differentiation is we're trying to put the customer experience at the center of building a solution, and want to really create that very holistic, easy ecosystem so that it's as easy as going and clicking a few times, and you can add services. So good old service chaining from the early 2000s, that's kind of what we're going back to.
Well, that's the marketplace story, right? So I think people want it easier. They do want an easy button for adding on, and I think we see that in things like the Microsoft marketplace. And so I like how that y'all are creating a Lumen marketplace that will allow the customer to make the choices they want to make, and then we benefit, you benefit, and then of course the partner.
That's right.
Yeah. So what's next? All right. So we've talked about where you are with AI, but you brought up Black Lotus Labs, which I always think is sort of that secret sauce that's hiding behind Lumen. But what's next behind that?
So I think we've heard for the last decade or so, how do we monetize Black Lotus Labs?
Right.
Right. And that's coming. That's coming soon.
Good.
So you'll have an as-a-service model that'll be delivered that is service provider facing, that is a good additive to a SASE security ecosystem, right? That's step one. You'll also see the ecosystem as its whole becoming very API-driven. Going back to your comment about Lumen Marketplace, in an ideal world, we want your clients to come to you, right? We want our services to live on your marketplace. And that's our goal, is to catch just the dim, dark gap, but we will live on every marketplace as easily as possible with the API ecosystem we're building.
No, and I like that, because I mean, we have partners all over the place, and we heard in the keynote earlier about meeting partners where they are. And so some of the partners are already very advanced into their own marketplaces and creating it. And I think by taking the Lumen story and being able to API it, then I can put it in my environment and sell it, right? But then we have the smaller partners sometimes that might need the more help. And I like how you're meeting them where they are.
Well, and I think that's a key point there, because we're in the media all the time right now, as I think it was said earlier today in one of the sessions. And we're doing a great job in the media and the marketing around that. I think where what you're going to see and what the partner ecosystem is going to see is the narrative is going to now be delivered on a silver platter for our smaller partners and our partner ecosystem in general, because I think that is what's going to actually take these partners and take the customer first experience or the partner first experience and really kind of make it real, right? Because I think what's missing is probably us delivering that message and delivering that narrative to make them, or to teach them how to sell what we now have.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a twist in the narrative, but I think they'll find it another one of those things that makes it easier to do business with Lumen.
Well, no, and that's it, right? That's at the end of the day what we want to do, is make it easier, right? So you called the easy button before, but technology, if we can make it easier, make it more consumable, and as you said before, make it more about the usability or the experience of the user. All right, so we're almost out of time, but I want to, let me get one more. You talked about sneak peeks, but you're not giving me enough. I want a little bit more sneak peek out of you of where am I going to see? What am I going to go, oh man, Lumen's going to kill it with that?
So I just said fabric, but think what the fabric can do. When you take the edge ecosystem we have today, when you take the security backbone that overlays on top of our deepest peer network, right? Just adding those two, plus the SASE portfolio that you have, we have a very unique go-to-market model where we can take anything AI adjacent. So think speeds, feeds, scale, plus compute, plus storage, plus security inbuilt in one cohesive ecosystem like Lego blocks. Right? So going back to, again, easy button, we want it to be just Legoized, as easy as possible.
All right. Bree, how are they going to engage you? Yeah.
Look, Intelisys is our biggest partner, and we have our staff internally at Lumen is ready to help you get the information that you need. If it's not through Intelisys, then do it through our channel management. We've got an entire team just ready and waiting and dedicated to you. So that's how you engage, and I think you all know that, but just a reminder.
We want to thank you for your time today. Another great supplier here with Lumen. And if you're not doing business with them, then you're missing out on some really good treats. And I think we're going to see more great stuff from Lumen here in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we'll have Stephanie Boris talking with Lucas from Kairos Data Communications. See you soon.
When you need help, it's great to be in sync with customer service. A team of reps who can anticipate the next step. Genesys technology is changing the way customer service teams anticipate what customers need. Because happy customers are music to our ears. Genesys, we're behind every customer smile.
We are live here at the Intelisys Channel Connect with Lucas Salvage from Kairos Data Communications. Welcome, Lucas.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. It's a pleasure to be here.
Super happy to be here. This is a long-standing tradition that you've been to a few of.
It certainly is.
How many Channel Connects have you been to?
I think this marks maybe 16, but I think 16 is the number we're going to go with today.
Awesome. And this is your favorite one?
This so far has been an incredible experience.
How do you like in Nashville?
I love Nashville. What a venue, what a place. I'm super excited for this to be here again, I hope.
Awesome, awesome. We just finished the general session. We got to hear from some great speakers. What was your favorite part?
My favorite part has to be the pursuit of happiness and Chris, and that was just an incredible both experience to get to hear him speak as well as just moving in terms of the things that he was talking about. Really hit home for, I think, a lot of us in the audience.
Yeah, I agree with you. One of his favorite sayings that I really loved is that there are a lot of people that have a goal, but not a lot of people that have an actual plan. So that hit home with a lot of partners as well.
Oh, for sure. I think he said, you know, a dream is free, but a plan has a price. And that's, again, he's just an incredible speaker. And some of the things that he was talking about, again, I think hit home for everybody in that audience.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've been a long-standing member of this Intelisys community and the ecosystem, and you have done a great job of leveraging Intelisys and the resources, et cetera. What advice would you give partners as they come to Channel Connect, and what should they take advantage of and not miss?
Well, listen, I think it's important that you get your trainings in, right? It's important that you get to meet the suppliers. It's important to be a part of a lot of the different activities and events. But I think the one thing, Stephanie, that not everybody takes advantage of is the ability to connect with your peers here, right? I think the name of this is Channel Connect, meaning let's connect people in the channel together. Let's get people talking. Let's grow the ecosystem. Let's grow everybody's business together. I think there's enough business out there for everybody. And I'm really excited to sit down with my peers and talk about my goals and my plans and bounce ideas off of them.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like we are so fortunate in this industry that we have an opportunity to sit down with both the suppliers that we work with, our competitors, and do what's good for this industry. And I feel like Channel Connect is a place to really do that. And I really appreciate that as well. So you've been in business now a couple of years on your own, and you have been one of our fastest growing partners, and we thank you for that. What are some of your secrets to your success? You don't have to give away all your trade secrets, but maybe give a couple of little nuggets.
I'm not giving away any secrets at all. Well, thank you very much. And we have been in business now at Kairos Data Communications for a little over 3 years. I actually, though, happen to be a vet of the industry, as I'm sure you know. I was with another organization for 16 and a half, so collectively in that 20-year range now. We focus a lot of time and effort, Stephanie, on a real relationship with a customer. Yeah. We sell a lot of things, and that's what we all do for a living. But I think sometimes, again, it gets lost that if you can develop a relationship with a customer, know that customer's kids' names, their wives' or husbands' names, if you can send them a handwritten note once in a while, those things go a long way. The other thing that we've done a lot of is tried to connect our customers together to do more mind share, right? So we have kind of a council of some of our larger customers. We bring them together once a quarter and try to have them do their own experience share. And I think that does a couple of things. That gives them a little bit more information about the kinds of customers that Kairos is working with, but it also spurs excitement and ideas, and again, trying to be that thought leader in the industry.
Yeah, I love that. There are so many partners that are out there that are doing a really good job of that, but I think taking it to that next level where you're creating an advisory board, if you will, of both clients and with your peers, I love that idea. What's the best way to work with some of our suppliers out there? So we have, almost 200 suppliers in the portfolio. I'm sure they all call and say, give me 5 minutes of your time. What's the best way to kind of weave through some of that and figure out how do you go to market with some of them?
That's a great question. And I'll give you the answer to that, but I'll also tell you that one of the most important things you can do is be at Channel Connect and talk to your peers, right? I use my peers that have used newer suppliers all the time to kind of find out how they did. But to answer the question more specifically, we do. We get a lot of phone calls. We take a lot of emails. And frankly, if you're paying attention and you're leveraging Intelisys University and you're getting interested in certain different aspects of technology, whether that's contact center, whether that's AI, whether that's security, I would take time and focus in one area and start taking some meetings with suppliers, because then you can start to think about plugging those particular suppliers into a particular subset of your customers. It's like drinking from a fire hose if you try to do it all at once. So it's very difficult, but I think if you can narrow it down a little bit and find specific areas of technology that you really are interested in, start taking meetings with those suppliers and again, plugging them into your customers, and that should help, again, augment, grow, land and expand, whatever you kind of want to call it.
I love that. And you talked a little bit about those technologies. What are you hearing from your clients? What are the biggest things that they're talking about today, and where are they going? What are they interested in? What's that chatter look like, and what are you chatting with them about?
AI. How do we put AI in? No, it's very interesting that you asked that, because we are an organization that's heavily built on CX technology, right? That's a big part and a big piece of our business at Kairos. We also believe in connectivity still. I don't think it's a commodity at all. I think it's the most important thing on the planet. But we've really started to drill into that AI subset of technologies. We like to think of them as contact center adjacent technologies. And we've found that while we've spent the better part of 10 or 15 years selling seats in contact centers, we now want to take those seats and turn them into something else, whether that's AI, whether that's BPO, and our customers are clamoring for technology, right? And I think that's another really interesting aspect of this job, is that our customers really don't understand what's out there. Right. There's something like 2,000 AI companies right now, right? Probably 3,000 since I've said that. And how do they navigate that? How do they hone into specific technology with suppliers that have been vetted by an Intelisys, so we know they have to be pretty darn good? Well, you can do that for them, and I think that's a very impactful message.
Yeah, I love it. Really, it's about being a thought leader for your clients, understanding their business problems and challenges and figuring out what outcomes they can get from the technology solutions that we have. I love that. Well, again, I personally want to say thank you for everything that you've done with us, and congratulations on all the hard work that you've put in, and looking forward to future success with you. Thank you, Lucas.
Thanks so much, Stephanie. Appreciate it.
Next up, we have John Themis. He is going to be chatting with Isaiah Hogberg from TierPoint. Thanks, everyone.
Welcome back to iCC Live. I'm John Themis here, coming to you from the MCC here in Nashville. We are talking with TierPoint right now. We've got Isaiah Hogberg, Channel Chief from TierPoint. Who's going to talk to us a little bit about some industry trends. We're going to talk a little bit of feedback on what we saw this morning. Isaiah, go ahead and introduce yourself, and we'll get into the questions.
Thank you. Well, thanks for having me here. I'm Isaiah Hogberg, the Vice President, Channel Chief for TierPoint, and this has been a pretty amazing show so far.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked a little bit a few minutes ago about kind of the opening, the opening discussion about opportunities and growth in the cloud space. What is your take on that? What are you guys seeing from success and from growth and all of that kind of stuff that Ken was talking about?
Well, we're certainly seeing that growth curve ourselves, and I think the stat he did was 20% year-over-year growth on the cloud computing space. If you came by our booth, and for those of you there to hear or virtual, please do. You'll see everything we're talking about right now hits on a couple of the key concepts. It was I don't know if I'll remember all 5, but it was hyper-automation, cloud compute growth, certainly what's happening in AI, and even the edge strategy. Those all kind of play around where we're aiming from a product set and where our product teams are continuing to develop as well. So it's really neat to see what he was talking about.
Yeah, and I'd love to hear you expand. I mean, obviously, I know you guys have some new offerings, Azure Stack, to kind of combat the VMware issue that obviously people are running into right now. We talked a little bit about the AI discussion. I'd certainly love to hear some additional details about what you guys are doing in AI, maybe potentially with some more information about the Azure Stack offering, and really anything else new you want to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple things. I'll start on the AI side, because there's 2 main sides to our business. It's 40+ data centers around the country, and we can't build quick enough right now to satisfy the demand we're seeing from our partners in the channel. So that's a great story, and we bought 2 new data centers, brought them online, and sold out. Luckily, all partner deals that helped us do that. So that's one piece. Then on the cloud side, there's one of the concepts you're certainly hearing a lot more about with AI is the data gravity. So where does that data live?
Right.
So building out those data warehouses, and then there's that edge component as well, and that gets into a big piece of where we're aiming with Azure Stack.
Sure.
Because that can be, if you picture, to oversimplify, taking the Azure software that so many customers love from an automation perspective and the ease of management, and then that ability to deploy it in any of our data centers, or even customer prem.
Okay, so you are able to do both prem and your data center. Yeah, that's interesting. I was going to ask you that.
We're technically working on beta for the prem side right now, but we're working on a couple opportunities, and that's the next stage. It was first roll it out in our data centers, and quickly we're already seeing, take a manufacturing client that want to have that workload really close to the processes that they're doing. So that ability to deploy, or those customers that have small workloads spread around the globe.
Yeah.
It's that ability to put those same frameworks in place with a single management plane that sits on the Azure side. So you can get really creative and cool. And that really speaks to that hyper-automation side from that single pane of glass managing all those workloads.
Sure. So from a trends perspective, I mean, obviously we talked a little bit about AI, we talked a little bit about edge. What other areas are you seeing in growth that maybe we haven't talked about, or maybe they're a little less known? Where are you seeing those trends?
Well, I thought it was interesting. I think it was the 5th trend that Ken was talking about this morning was around flexibility.
Sure. Yeah.
Customer flexibility. I literally walked in, to the Expo Hall that's right behind us that we can see out there, and one of the first conversations I had was a partner came over and was talking about one of their customers, and it's a deal, knock on wood, we're about to close on with them.
Awesome.
And he was talking about why the customer chose to work with us on this Azure opportunity, and it was all around the flexibility for their IT team to manage where they felt comfortable, but then for them to offload on a couple specific applications, have us manage those. So it really was that flexibility and IT model around the specific applications and how we folded into their IT team, and that approach that has us winning the deal.
Interesting.
So I was thinking after that, I'm like, Ken was right.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Well, and that brings up a good kind of side note is the engagement from the partner side. I mean, obviously there's customers that are asking for things. There's, new technologies. There's challenges with licensing. There's, always ever-changing issues. I mean, I come from the Midwest. We've got a lot of server huggers in the Midwest. I'm seeing that change a little bit. Obviously, we've got a lot of public cloud users out there as well that maybe are starting to find out that public cloud isn't as easy as they thought it was going to be. How do you reach out to the customer, or I'm sorry, to the partner community, and get them to engage in these kind of conversations? I mean, are you out there helping to educate them? Are there things that they can be doing to really kind of pull some of these opportunities out there?
Yeah, and I think a lot of what you're talking about right now, I like to summarize it in what I refer to as the great roadmap reset.
Sure.
Because, from the VMware, all the pieces you're talking about, it has IT leaders taking a step back and really saying, okay, what are, that roadmap I may have had 12 months ago, I need to reevaluate it.
Right.
And anytime there's that amount of disruption and change, that's where the advisor community, the channel community, has always shined.
Sure, right.
So being able to be that advisor and help them figure out that roadmap, I mean, I think now is the time. There's no greater time than now to be able to do that and help them, because customers need us all and need this community more than ever right now.
Well, and the thing I always say is, if you're not asking them, somebody else is.
They
So
absolutely are.
If you're a partner and you're out there in the community and you're not having these conversations, guarantee you there's another partner out there, there's another supplier out there, there's somebody out there having these conversations.
Well, and to that point, I think one of the bigger opportunities right now is I feel like a blending of traditional IT channels. And you have a lot of what I'll say is the traditional integrators or consulting community.
Sure.
And that is quickly, I think, eroding. Some of them are trying to get into this space.
Yeah.
But the ability for all of those advisors that play in the as a service and have known it and grown up in it and excel, and that's how their customers know, that's how customers are switching to spend. So to be able to pivot into and push even more into selling consulting services, not waiting for when it's the bake-off time, but getting ahead of that.
Right.
That's what we're seeing, and what we're partnering with a lot of advisors to get in early, do that consulting, do that roadmap. Maybe it's a year before there's any actual project that leads into a product.
Yeah.
But there's a ton of opportunity, a lot of revenue there, and a lot of areas that we can help customers evolve.
Awesome. That's great. Well, we're coming down to about a minute and a half left, so I'm going to give you the mic and have you leave the audience with one takeaway that you'd really like. I mean, of everything else that we've talked about, what's the number one takeaway that you want to leave everybody with today?
Number one takeaway. When you ask that in my head, I'm thinking, how can I weave three things? Is that bad?
No, it's okay. We can blend them all into one.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest piece, and I like to think of these as kind of my cloud truths that I see in the market right now, is everything is hybrid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been de facto. Every customer is really hybrid scenario right now. The biggest cloud deals start with consulting engagements, and the third is while everything is hybrid, unfortunately, it's really hard as well, because when you think about what this creates for a customer, is when you have disparate environments, it's harder to do security across them. It's harder to so all of those lead to the one piece of lead with assessments, lead with consulting, lead with being that advisor to help them build that long-term roadmap.
Yeah.
Because if there's one thing that's truth, it's helping them through uncertainty and change. And as long as you do that as the anchor and bring in experts to help guide them and paint that picture, no matter if it's cloud or security or AI and CX, that brings value to the customer and really teams with them at a leadership level to execute their vision.
Awesome. Well, you brought us right down to the wire. So thanks a lot for your time today. Good seeing you.
Great to see
For
you.
those of you that aren't here, obviously reach out to TierPoint. For those of you that are, reach out to TierPoint. Thanks again, Isaiah.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll be right back with Chris Nein from Zayo. Hey everybody, welcome back. John Themis back here from the MCC. We are talking to Chris Nein from Zayo today, and we're switching gears a little bit. We're going to talk about an actual opportunity instead of just talking about Zayo. So, Chris, go ahead, introduce yourself, and let's get into this opportunity and talk about what we did.
Thanks, John. Great to be here. Thanks for having me. Yeah, my name is Chris Nein. I'm the Senior Vice President of Channel Sales for Zayo, and I'm thrilled to be here today.
Awesome. So, I worked on this opportunity towards the end. This is actually a partner of mine out of Minnesota area, Renotis. Yeah. And we talked a little bit before this session that, you know, this particular solution isn't really what you guys do. I mean, obviously you do. You've got to practice around it, but it's not what traditionally people would think about Zayo. Yeah. So don't you go a little bit into the opportunity, kind of how it was developed and what you ultimately ended up building, and then we can talk a little bit more about like size and future and all that kind of stuff.
Right, great. Yeah, so I mean, first of all, it's a testament to the Intelisys infrastructure, how it all came together, because it was your engineering staff that brought the partner and the provider together in this case, and won a great solution for a customer. So everybody wins. Yeah, so we got engaged with Renotis through the deal desk and the engineering team. You guys, right?
Yes, us. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Tom Laguerre.
Yeah,
Shout out to
Tommy
Tom
Laguerre, my guy.
He was in it early, and I was brought into it later on.
Well,
so.
Tom and I have a long history together, so it's always great to continue to work with good friends. So
absolutely.
Yeah, but we were introduced to Renotis, and this is a fun deal because the first thing we had to do was win their trust, right? So, yes, you brought up the point that maybe Zayo, known for infrastructure and IP connectivity and fiber in the streets and all that good stuff, and we are that. We are an infrastructure company at heart, but over the last 4 years, we've also built quite a vibrant managed services practice. Yeah. The product that we're talking about here today is our edge management solution that was part of QoS Networks, which was acquired in 2021. Sure. We then also bought a MSP for the LAN called Education Networks of America, based right here in Nashville. Oh, nice. And ENA brought a capability to manage an entire infrastructure for a school system that we've now parlayed also into the enterprise.
Oh, very cool.
And then we also built a voice solution through our Allstream acquisition. So this managed services portfolio of edge, and managed LAN and voice comes together, and now those three companies make up what we call Zayo Managed Services. So you've got Zayo Infrastructure, Zayo Connectivity, which is our IP products, and then Zayo Managed Services. 3 silos of product that that we're very proud of. In this case, the deal came in. You guys introduced us to Renotis. Renotis didn't know that we did this, so we worked with Johnny and Myron over at Renotis. Those guys are great. And really, established a trust between our teams first and foremost. Sure. We had the opportunity then to meet with the customer and present to them, which really also, built on that trust with the partner. They saw how we interacted with customers, the questions that could be asked, the answers, all that. Yeah. And it turned out that Renotis, working with the customer, saw Zayo as the best solution. And it really is it's a great story for us because it took a TSD of Intelisys' skill to understand that Zayo has this product set, bring a partner and the provider together, and then eventually win a deal. So it really was, it's fun to talk about.
Absolutely, and I think one of the testaments here is, I think everybody knows QoS Networks, and they knew that you bought QoS, and I'll be honest with you, there was a little bit of rumble in the industry about, oh gosh, Zayo bought QoS, what's going to happen? I think these kind of deals are really proving that you guys working together are a monster. You have amazing services. You've got great ability to bring a lot of different disparate services to customers that, as you said, Renotis didn't know. Right. So yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, look, I came to Zayo through QoS, right? Yeah. So really proud to be here and be able to build on what QoS originally did at the edge, and combine it with the core network services and the cloud connectivity. So you'll hear us say edge core cloud, edge core cloud. Yeah. We say that over and over again because that's really what this is. It's the edge QoS network along with managed, the LAN and the voice. Then you've got the core network that's the Zayo infrastructure that everybody knows, and then over 1,500 data centers and hyperscalers connected to the network and cloud connectivity. So you think about it, where applications live to where users access them, and everything in between. So that's really what the winning formula is.
That's awesome. So obviously, let's talk about what some of the partners want to hear. How big was the deal?
Yeah. This deal actually was really interesting because in this portfolio, we have 3 different things we can do. Total greenfield, where we sell and manage the SD-WAN, and we do that as a service, so it's an operating expense, or if somebody wanted to buy it with capital, they could do that too. Sure. But most of our customers consume it as an operating expense. Got it. We have a sort of a hybrid where we come in and help somebody that's partially the way through the deployment, and then we just have a pure takeover. Now this one is the middle one, right? So this customer, Patterson Companies, based out of Minneapolis, had a Palo Alto instance that they had already committed to, and we love Palo Alto. Very, very good partner of ours, both for the SD-WAN and the SASE product. And really our experience in Palo Alto versus our competitors is what won it for us. And the amount of engineering resources we have tied directly with Palo Alto, our engineers and their engineers together, that proved out to be the winning formula. But our ability to come in and help them finish the deployment and then manage it for the next 3 to 5 years. I think it's a 5-year deal, yeah. So next 5 years plus going forward. That's really what Renotis, brought us in to do through Intelisys.
Right. And I remember that, so that's where I got involved towards the later stages when we were trying to do the comparisons. And you're right, your Palo experience and your engineering staff and really day 2 support components and all of those things really help to drive that thing to close.
Yeah, so quick, I think the one thing I'd say is the the key to the tool is, or the win really is the platform, right? Yeah. It's an AI and automation-driven platform that QoS developed in-house. It's what Zayo purchased, right? Sure. So a lot of us think of it as an SD-WAN company, and we're not an SD-WAN company. We're a network management company.
Sure. Right.
And so it's management, monitoring, remediation, and visibility. And we have also a homegrown visibility tool we call Z Insights. It's a portal that takes a look inside every element of the network, from the connectivity to the devices and the application performance. So, what did Patterson really see? They saw the combination of all the Palo Alto elements plus all the connectivity solutions that we brought into one solution. I didn't mention how big the deal was. The deal was close to $200,000 a month. And that does not include the Palo Alto equipment they already owned. Had they done the Palo Alto equipment through us with the equipment and the licensing, it would have been closer to $500,000. Wow. So it's a 200-site company, dual connectivity, SD-WAN, that if somebody said, hey, you're going to do everything through Zayo, it's a $500,000 deal. This is about a couple $100,000 a month.
Nice. And what about upside of it? Any kind of future developments or expansions or anything on the?
Always.
Okay.
Always.
Right.
I mean, there's always the security. You put the SASE security on it.
Yeah.
And we have a full voice portfolio now. We've announced a partnership with Ring Central that if somebody's here, they can stop by and talk to us about our Ring Central partnership.
Awesome.
But voice is in play. By the way, has anybody ever said, hey, I think I'll do my voice through Zayo?
Yeah. Right.
No, never. Right.
Exactly.
Okay. But yeah, we have a great voice offering that we've seen great success early on, and now we've partnered with Ring Central for a full, feature-rich enterprise UCaaS, CCaaS solution. So, anytime you're in one of these networks, new locations, M&A is key, but other services to include more edge. We do have full LAN management as well, switches, APs, and so as Renotis says to us, hey, inside our stores, inside these distribution facilities, we need somebody to help manage those other elements. We can take those over as well.
Awesome. Great to hear. So we got about 45 seconds left. What's one thing you want to leave everybody with? Really quick.
Yeah, very quickly. Edge Core Cloud. Everybody remember Edge Core Cloud, and Zayo, yes, we are the carrier's carrier. We are the hyperscaler's carrier. We want to sell dark fiber wavelengths, big pipes. We love those, but also we love the enterprise. And the enterprise is a place where Zayo's fastest growth is happening. We do these kinds of deals that really move the needle for us. The day before this deal came in, we had another deal with one of the largest retailers in the country that came in for almost $250,000 a month. And they literally came in back to back.
Wow.
So it was a lot of fun, but awesome. Bring those deals to us. We want to work on them.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time, Chris.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here.
Yeah. All right. Next, we've got Eddie Acosta speaking to some members of 3DG about closing deals. We'll see you in a little bit.
Hey there. My name is Eddie Acosta. I'm the Vice President of Sales with Intelisys, and we're here live at Channel Connect. And I'm joined by some industry experts here, 3DG. So you guys want to just take a moment and introduce yourself?
Sure. Thanks, Eddie. So my name's Doug Cardozo. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer and partner of 3DG Partners. My big focus in the role in the organization is helping find new routes to revenue for the business and, ultimately try and unlock top-line revenue growth.
Awesome.
All right. Hey, Eddie. Thanks for having us here. My name is Guhan Raghu. I'm partner and Chief Operating Officer for 3DG Partners. My role in the organization is to build out our practices and ultimately expand service offerings to our customers as we work with them deeper and deeper.
So you guys haven't been doing this quite as long as many, but you've had a lot of success. How did 3DG get started?
It's interesting. It's kind of a byproduct of COVID, for lack of a better way of looking at it, good, bad, or indifferent. All of the change that happened in COVID prompted us to go out and do something different and take our destiny into our own hands. Interesting enough, the business started out as almost like a staffing company, right? People placement and, CIOs looking for SVPs of IT, et cetera. We placed those individuals, and staffing kind of evolved into one-time service engagements, consulting, professional services, and at some point, as you're providing those types of consulting services, the customers just want an easier way to consume the overall solution. Hey, we're already working with you through this consulting initiative. Can we consume these products from you? And that's ultimately how we kind of ventured out into this space.
Yeah, that's a really unique model. Guhan, you come from a different perspective. So obviously Doug was in sales here, but you've been carrying a bunch of C-level titles right within the organization. Give us a little bit about what you've been doing and what's your role within the business, right? Are you placing yourself? Are you the virtual guy? Do you put your team out there? What does that look like?
Well, that's a great question. It's basically, it draws on my last 10 years of my career have been a C-level executive in various capacities at retail, healthcare, and higher ed organizations, where ultimately it's all about scale, building scale. How do you help organizations not have to reinvent the wheel every time they want to grow bigger? And what I'm doing now is essentially the same thing that I was doing, just not in a corporate role anymore. I'm doing it for corporations. What I'm doing is building out practices and then implementing these practices at our customer locations so that they have basically someone who I didn't have when I was in the role, a partner to basically recognize where opportunities are, but then help them execute. Not just identify them and say, there's gold in those hills, but here's how we get there and here's how we ultimately solve problems together.
You guys have had a lot of success, all right? 18 months in, some might say the largest deal in channel history. You talk a lot about risk mitigation and due diligence as a service. What is that exactly? How do you define that?
Yeah, Guhan's always saying that risk erodes value, right? Especially when you're talking about publicly traded companies and things along those lines. So ultimately what we're trying to do is help mitigate risk for our clients. And there's a lot of different ways that we can do that. I think it's easy for salespeople to just automatically default to being, how do I make this cheaper for you? But customers aren't always just asking for cheaper. They want to find ways where you can mitigate risk, get more favorable contract terms that actually reduce the risk to the business. So better business downturn clauses, better breach penalties, reduced minimum commitments, et cetera. So a lot of what we do is we use our backgrounds and mine coming from the supplier side and understanding what levers we have to pull with these contracts, and then Guhan's coming from the customer side, knowing exactly what he has to do to get these technology purchases pushed through the board, right, and get people bought on to the solution. So, ultimately, we focus more on adding value by mitigating risk than we do just trying to simply reduce cost.
So Guhan, you're leading the consulting practice, and that's really different from what I'm seeing today. Most of our partners today are selling the as-a-service, the carrier service side of the house, but that consulting practice is pretty lucrative. How do you engage that practice? Who are you normally working with? What does that mean to an organization when they're working with 3DG?
When we work with our customers, there's a certain type of customer where our value proposition resonates more. It's the type of customer that wants to plot a course to revenue creation to cost reduction, all those types of elements. And the engagement that we have starts on the executive advisory side, where we help just analyze problems. So you can't just say we're a UCaaS or a CCaaS or any type of other type of shop. What we're really doing is focusing on, let's identify the value chain of this organization, the business as a whole. And then you can elevate those conversations and help those IT leaders. We work at the highest echelons of IT leadership because that's where these conversations resonate the most. And that's where we ultimately are able to help them accomplish these roadmaps and then deliver on these roadmaps and then justify their investments ultimately to boards and senior leadership.
I'm sure you get a little bit of an unfair advantage having those consulting services or those practices living in there. What kind of trust are you building with those customers with that practice right now? I mean, other than just the roadmaps and beyond.
Well, ultimately, if you think about it, this is all built on credibility. At the end of the day, you can't tell someone, here's what I would do if I've never done it before. So between Doug and myself, like he described earlier, even on contract analysis and negotiation, where a lot of times that's left to certain folks to figure out on their own, I've done it from sitting in their seat. We've sat in their seats before, the customer's seat. We know what they want to get accomplished and how much they want to be able to push a supplier to bend to solving a business goal. And Doug approaches it from, he knows what a supplier is capable of. And a lot of times credibility isn't just saying yes every single time a customer asks for something, having the courage and the trust to say, no, I think you're being unreasonable. Here's what's realistic.
Yeah, I love that. I assume you're not playing in like the mid-market or SMB space, right? It's got to be a little bit different. Your deals are by far historically some of the largest, right? Are you focused on that type of customer? How do you get into a customer like this? There's got to be some pre-existing relationships, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the existing relationships help you get a foot in the door. We do focus predominantly on large enterprise, Fortune 500. And the relationships might get you a foot in the door, but at these big companies, everyone's got to justify not just what they're spending their money on, but who they're spending their money with, right? And so the relationship alone isn't going to get you there. It gets you the seat at the table, though. I jokingly say it's kind of what you know that opens the door, and the consulting or who you know that opens the door, and what we know in terms of how Guhan's approached our consulting practice has ultimately been what's helped us get really wide and sticky in these accounts. I mean, we have some organizations, probably one of our largest clients, we have 8 full-time employees working there year-round that have been there for, going on 2 years, right? So, large enterprise, a lot of it, again, it's relationships, and then once you've executed a certain level of scale, it opens up the doors to a million other things because very few people can say that they've executed at the level of scale that we're talking about.
I think over the last 30 years, you've seen this large adoption of people buying through the enterprise space. You might have created the new goal, the new big level. We're really excited to have you here. I have no doubt in my mind that you guys are going to get granted a red jacket here in the very near future. You know what that means to so many of the partners out there, right? Those of you that have had the opportunity to put a red jacket on, you know what type of hard work it took to get there. These guys are putting in that hard work day in and day out. I mean, I want to say the time that you described the first deal you worked on, you crunched, so many hours just doing some prep into that, right? I mean, I can't even imagine. And you still worked full time, right, at your previous corporate gigs while you're doing this on the side.
Yeah, it was a lot of late nights. Once the family was ready to go to sleep, we were getting back to work and starting job shift 2, right? But it's the story of any successful entrepreneur, I'd say, is it's that hard work going above and beyond in the after hours, oftentimes.
You gotta put in the work for the outcomes, and then the income follows.
Yeah. Well, this has been great, guys. I want to thank you guys for joining us today. Guhan, you got a little something you want to say?
Yeah, well, up next, stick around for our day 1 wrap-up.
Later, guys. Appreciate your time.
What's up, Intelisys Nation, and welcome, well, I guess to the end of the day. Yep. We've made it to the end of our live stream, and it's been already an amazing, crazy day, and we're really only halfway through it.
And the feedback has been fantastic, from the supplier venue to the opening party of last night, just the camaraderie going back and forth. Some of the interviews that we have been just super enlightful, just the insight to what Intelisys is.
It's the energy is still a buzz. We talked about it this morning, where the energy is in the air for many different reasons, but here on the 4th floor of Music City Center, and soon to be the 2nd floor, where the whole second half of our day is going to go on, is just absolutely buzzing. So what we have left in the day are, well, we've been talking about these breakout sessions that we're both going to be hosting later this afternoon. I believe you have one.
Yep.
I'll have 2, so we'll be actually hosting those sessions a little bit later, actually in about like an hour or so from now.
Yep.
But right now, still going on is the Supplier Expo. What, did you find any cool swag when you were out there?
I mean, my kids are going to be just elated, and that is Christmas, so Merry Christmas. But yeah, there's...
my kids are getting swag that's fully branded. That's,
I know, hey. It's like NASCAR to them, so you know what it is. But yeah, some really good suppliers out there, some great solutions, putting faces with names that we've been talking with and introducing our partners with over bridges is fantastic. Hearing about some of their road mapping, what they're looking to plan for the future. You know, everyone is at least should be leaving with a plan of what we should be chasing for 2025, and that's awesome.
Yeah, and there's more of those meetings to come, but before I even transition to that, this was my favorite piece of swag. We'll punch in there. Nice. It was the, IntelliPeer did make it, but it is a harmonica. And so for the next 3 minutes, I'm going to do a harmonica solo to close us out for the day.
I don't know if the speakers are ready for that, but go for it.
But no, I used to have a harmonica when I was a kid, and I saw that, and I was like, I haven't had a harmonica in forever, so I snagged one.
There you go.
But it's talking about building those relationships, as well as our award, or not our award assembly, but as our breakout sessions. After breakout sessions, I don't know about yourself, but I have about a half dozen partner and supplier meetings that are all going to be to continue to build those relationships and meet with some partners. How many do you got lined up this afternoon?
I believe I got, after the breakout, 3 partner meetings.
Okay.
Along with suppliers, all about building that roadmap. Where are we going 2025? How do I use the information that we gathered here today? You know, here's some potential opportunities that are coming up. How do we plan? Let's set up a game plan on how we're going to engage. So, and it's easier to do that face to face. You know, sitting in the same room, reading off each other's energy. So, places and opportunities like this is a fantastic venue for it.
Absolutely. What we talked about, a rising tide raises all ships, right?
Sure.
We got everybody is working together. That camaraderie. That ability to kind of come up with a game plan and that future plan of how we can all succeed together. And then after that, there's an event I know both of us are attending that I'm really excited about, hat making.
Yeah, I'm gonna give me a hat. It's been a long time. I've never had one. My brother got one made in Austin.
Okay.
And I want one specifically for playing golf and coaching lacrosse in. There's a guy that I've played lacrosse with for many years in Texas, and he's got a cowboy hat at every event, every coaching event. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna get me one made.
I'm just super stoked to get a hat. I'm gonna make it rugged. It's gonna be black. I'm hoping I can put like bullet shells or something in the side of it.
There you go.
Make it look cool.
Like you survived something.
Yeah, live out my childhood dream of being a cowboy. Then after that, we still got more. We have the awards assembly going on tonight.
Yep.
That's where we're gonna get all sorts of fancy. We're gonna dress up, men and women. And we're going to be handing out awards. Some of those awards ranging from our Chuck Mackey Award all the way to top producers, recognizing our platinum partners. It's going to be an amazing time with great food and really just a well-orchestrated event for us.
And I believe there's some supplier recognition as well.
Yes.
You know, as we talk about this triangle, how us as the TSD works together with our partners, there's also our suppliers. We want to come and make sure that we're honoring them because they're taking care of us and taking care of our partners. So having the opportunity to honor them and recognize them as well is going to be fantastic.
Absolutely. And we can't forget, shameless plug, we're more of us tomorrow. So we're starting live tomorrow at 8:45 a.m. Central Time. We're going to have more of what you saw today, recapping last night. We're going to be talking about our future breakout sessions, our interviews, and the various activities that are going to take place tomorrow morning. And all of that's coming at you at 8:45 Central Time. We'll have a morning session and an afternoon session, much like we did today. So Reggie, any final words?
No, man. Good session. None of us passed out.
None of us passed out.
You know, it's all good.
Yeah,
I think we started strong.
Awesome, everybody. Intelisys Nation, thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you tomorrow.